Okay, take two. I hope that the sound quality is better on this one. Um, I wanted to pop in here and talk about practice because I have heard from so many of you who are frustrated that you're not getting the results. You're putting in the time, but you're not seeing the progress, and that's what we want, right? So, I want to talk about the three reasons that that could be and how you can shift that. So, the first one is you either don't know what to do to get results, or you do and you aren't actually doing them. So, I bang on about this all the time, but please stop wasting your time with random exercises without a purpose, function, or focus. I've lost count how many singers I've heard from who reach out to me. They're devastated, they're practicing, but it's not helping. And when I ask them, what exercises are you doing? What tools are you using? Or what are you focusing on technique wise? They come up empty. So, this is a reminder your exercises should be, they need to be curated to what you are working on. So, what techniques you're trying to instill as brand shiny new habits, and wrap them around the challenges you face in the songs that you're working on or in your singing in general. So, if you're working on breath support, for example, are you using vocal function exercises and tools? Are your hands on your rib cage and your stomach to check what is going on? There are so many singers who, when I talk about breath support, are like, yeah, I've got this all figured out. I know I've got to sing from the diaphragm. And when I ask more questions, they actually don't have a clear understanding of what that feels like in their body or how they should be practicing or developing the relationship between the breath and the vocal cords, or how the breath support changes or is flexible depending on what intensity we're wanting or what pitches we're singing. So that's just my little rant on that. Um, are you then using what works in your exercises or what works in your warm up in your song? You can take those tools and then use them in the song, because the tools and techniques you're using in your exercise are for a reason. And so you can take them directly into problem solving and working on things in your song. If you're working on something like vowel modification, are you creating exercises around the vowels you feel difficult, or even better, words in your song that you are finding challenging? And I know that we don't like doing this. I know that we kind of like avoiding the things that are tricky. We want to work on the things that are working, but this is how we get results. And I know that you know this. Are you tackling this? This is the same thing. Are you tackling the hard bits and problem solving those with different adjustments and approaches? If you don't know what you should be working on and how, please go and find out. There's nothing more demoralizing than like trying things out and not actually having a clear plan of attack. You're like, why isn't this working? I'm trying this from this YouTube video, or I'm trying that, or like reach out, learn from amazing singing coaches. The information is out there, and you'll find a ton of videos on my site, and you can ask me about them. I am here if you've got questions about it. If you're trying things that I've been teaching and they're just not quite clicking with you, please reach out. And I've got full-length workshops that are available if you sign up for my emails as well. So that's the first one. That is your deep technical practice. You need to know what it is what the problems are, like what is causing you problems, and what are the techniques, tools, exercises that can help you fix that, and then do them over and over again. The second one is that maybe the way you talk to yourself and think about yourself and your voice is kind of awful. So if you go into a practice session feeling like, I better practice because I don't want to disappoint my teacher and she's going to ask about it, or I should go in because it's what good singers do, that's going to feel like a really hard slog all the way through. You're just going to be like, oh, I don't really want to be doing this. That energy is not going to be helpful. And similarly, if you go into a rehearsal thinking, I can't sing that bridge without cracking, or there's no way I'm going to be able to sustain that high note, guess what? Same deal. And you are going to make that a reality because you're going to be panicking and panicking and panicking and being like thinking about that note or that bridge way too early, or holding your breath or trying too hard. It's going to happen. So what you say to yourself and think about yourself and what you're capable of matters. And you'll probably notice that when you're feeling yourself, your voice will follow. Your voice will do, more impressive things, and it will feel better and you'll enjoy it more. Now, I'm not saying wait until you feel amazing to practice, like only practice when you feel great, but I am reminding that you can change the tape, you can change your state and your thoughts in any moment if you choose to, if you are committed to doing this. You can focus on what you can't do, or you can pour your energy into being excited about what you're learning to do, the singer that you're becoming by showing up to practice and problem solving your issues with, and this is key, curiosity. So if you know, and I know this is tough, like we've grown up with these stories a lot of the time. They're embedded, they are just constant, and sometimes we don't even catch them. But it's some of the most important work that you'll ever do being a singer. And so if you know that you need help creating better stories around your voice, better beliefs around your music and how you show up, I have a PDF download you can grab. I have popped the link in the description. And I'm also running 2 live coaching calls that are around this. So they're going to be this weekend. I want to listen to your specific flavors of BS because we all have them. We start to believe that the stories that we tell ourselves are the only version, that they are the truth, when in reality, it's just an opinion. And it's an opinion that is laced with past experiences and disappointments and criticisms of other people and embarrassing moments. And you don't need to bring them into your present and into your future. It's not doing you any favors. And I know that you know this. So in my opinion, working on the space between your ears is even more valuable than mastering technique. Technique is actually the easy part, believe it or not. Once you know how it all works and what adjustments get different results and create different tone colors and create more ease, it's just like plug in and play. Whereas this is like the pervasive stuff. And the other reason that I think that it's harder than technique is that I've coached singers who become these technically brilliant singers. Like they can do just about anything with their voice, and yet they're too afraid to share their voices publicly, or they get in front of people and everything kind of locks up, and it's because of this. It's got nothing to do with the habits in their body. So please don't wait until your voice is good enough to start working on how you feel about it and yourself, because you're slowing down your practice, you're slowing down your progress in the practice room, and maybe even shrinking the time you even allow for practicing. So if you'd like someone to hold your hand through this process, please sign up to get the PDF and get your invite to the coaching calls. Last but not least, number 3, you're not having fun. And this is connected to number 2 because it is the way that you approach it. It is how you feel about it. But I wanted to say this separately so that it really hits home for you. Stop making practicing and learning to sing so damn serious. Singing is not meant to be heavy. It's not meant to be laborious. Learning technique doesn't have to sap all of the joy out of the experience. And I tell my students who struggle with this, who are really into like needing to be great and making it this like really intense, serious thing and beat themselves up if they don't get things right the first time, to commit to devotion over discipline. And even if you listen to those two words, they feel really different. When you're practicing in devotion to what you love to do and in devotion to the singer that you want to grow into, it's really different from discipline. Like show up whether you like it or not is kind of what I think when I think of discipline. And this means that when I tell singers to do this, to be in devotion over discipline, is that sometimes their practice sessions aren't your deep practice, repeat the section over and over again, troubleshoot it, like serious deep practice. Some of them are, blasting their favorite songs in their car with the wind in their hair and not ever giving technique a second thought, just being in the moment and enjoying it and reminding themselves why they love music and why they wanted to sing in the first place. And I do this because my university years ruined, or nearly ruined, I should say, singing for me forever. Everything was so serious and competitive, and there wasn't any room for play or silliness or experimentation or expression unless it was carefully planned beforehand, which is not real expression. So that's why this is really important to me now, and it's important for me to share it with you. Do the deep practice, do the problem solving and the training that develops wonderful habits. Like you can be focused and not be so serious that you're like whipping yourself every time something doesn't go right. You can be curious. You can be really focused and curious at the same time. That note didn't quite come out the way that I expected. What do I know could have triggered this crack? Or what do I know could have triggered this tension or thinned out my sound? That's how I want you to do the deep practice. But in the same breath, don't forget why you love singing in the first place, why you were drawn to learn to sing. I want you to be able to switch your mind off and let it go, because that's the feeling that we wanted. When we see singers that we love, we just see them going out there and they don't have a care in the world. They're not thinking about what tongue position it's in, what their jaw is doing, what their breath is doing. And I know that that comes with time, but I want you to practice it before everything is clicked into place, because it doesn't get any easier to surrender and to trust yourself and to allow fun and expression to be the main point sometimes, because that's what we want in performance. That's the difference between practice and performance. So practice it in your practice sessions. What else have I said here? Let yourself get swept up in the music and the sensations every now and then. I love feeling the resonance in my body and tuning into that so that I can quieten what's going on in my mind. I also have a lot of students that like to close their eyes just so that they can experience it in their body a little bit more. And trust me, it's going to feel 1,000 times better if you split your time between deep practice and like just expression and fun than if you just stick with your deep practice and seriousness and I've got to tick everything off and I've got a checklist. It's going to keep you more motivated because you're inspired in different ways. So I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments which of these three resonates most with you. Is it that you don't know what to do to get results, or you do and you aren't doing them? Is it that the way that you talk to yourself and that self-talk and all those thoughts that are going through are completely throwing you off because they're terrible? Or is it because you're not having fun? And so that's sucking all of that motivation from you because it feels heavy going into practice. And again, if you want to join me for the coaching calls this weekend, please hit the link. I don't know where it is. It's one of these two in the description to grab your PDF so that you can really start to unravel what those beliefs are so that we can nip them in the bud And yeah, I want to see you on the coaching call so that I can talk you through them. Sometimes we just need somebody from the outside to see it a little bit more clearly. Hi, Kylie. Just having a look at some of these comments here. Hi, Daniel. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Please, any comments, I will reply to them after the call is finished. I love hearing from you, and I hope that you're really well.